Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Brainbean here again. Razer's just been killing it with release after release of some really great products, and over the last month or so, they've just shown no sign of stopping. Now, as of today, Razer has released 4 new keycap sets and 2 different wrist rests to help augment some of the gear that you might already have. So with that, I want to just dive in and check these things out. So I want to start things off by looking at the wrist rest first, because I think arguably they're probably the least exciting announcement of the two. They're offered in 2 different flavors. They have the standard ergonomic wrist rest that comes in at $20, and then they have the Pro version that comes in at $35. The standard version is basically the same as what comes with Razer's previous offerings. It's a leatherette padded wrist rest that feels pretty good. The Pro elevates this design by adding a cooling gel insert and replaces the leatherette with a soft heat transfer fabric, and I've got to admit, this one feels really nice. Both have the same shape and design, and they're made to fit full-size keyboards only at this time. Now, I did reach out to Razer in preparation for this video to ask if there's plans to have a 10 keyless version, and as of right now, they're thinking about it, but they don't have anything in production yet. While these wrist rests are brand agnostic, they're certainly designed to work with Razer keyboards, as they have a slanted design that has them butt up perfectly with the Black Widow 2019, and the height and shape work great with the Huntsman too. But keep in mind that these aren't magnetic like some of the other wrist rests that have come with Razer keyboards in the past. Now, ultimately, I think the standard ergonomic wrist rest for $20 actually isn't that bad of a deal. When you look at cheapo wrist rests on Amazon, they go from anywhere from $10 to about $20 for even just a cheap jelly one. And if you want something that's going to have a cohesive look and design to, say, your Huntsman keyboard or a Black Widow 2019, I think it's actually a pretty good option. The Pro version, on the other hand, feels really nice, and after scouring the internet looking for different pricing and different things that fall into a similar category, I didn't really find a whole lot that offers what this wrist rest does. And at that price point, I think it's actually a pretty great option for full-size keyboards, but I do wish they had an offering for 60% or even 10 keyless keyboards. Now, they don't actually sell any 60% Razer keyboards, so I get why they wouldn't have that, but still, I'll settle for a 10 keyless. But let's talk about what you guys probably clicked on this video in the first place, Razer's new PBT Keycap sets. Now, these are offered in 4 different colors. They've got the classic black, they've got the mercury white, the quartz pink, and a green variety. Now, I think it's great that they're offering sets for each of their existing color options, and the green set is a really nice touch as well. And you can, of course, just mix and match these sets to create your own colorways too. And Razer's actually priced these surprisingly pretty fairly at $30 a set. When you consider some of the other competitors' prices, whether it's the HyperX keycaps coming in at $25, Corsair's PBT keycap set, which is a whopping $50, or even something like Matrix Keyboard's keycap sets for $45, I think the Razer keycap set coming in at $30 is actually a pretty good price point, especially considering that none of those other keycap sets will cater to Razer's non-standard bottom row layout. But I think one of the best things about Razer's PBT keycap set is that they're going to fit on a lot of different keyboards. In the past, Razer's mainly released keyboards with non-standard bottom rows until the recent release of the Huntsman Tournament Edition that does now have a standard bottom row. To ensure compatibility with any Razer keyboard out right now, they include keycaps for both standard and non-standard layouts in this kit. They also include all the caps needed for UK layouts too. This means that these keycaps will work on the majority of keyboards that you'll find out in the wild, whether they're Razer keyboards or not, with the exception just being some more compact layouts. Now, personally, I do think it would have been really cool if they had just included a couple of caps to be compatible with compact layouts, like smaller shift keys, for example. But at the same time, I realize that Razer doesn't actually make any keyboards that fit that layout, so I can get why they didn't accommodate that. Also included with the keycaps are a keycap puller and a set of stabilizers for both Razer's mechanical switches and optical switches, as they use different stabilizers. This is a nice inclusion in case your old ones get lost or damaged in the process, and in particular, sometimes they can be a real pain to take off the old caps, so this does eliminate that issue. The caps themselves are double-shot PBT plastic that have a nice textured feel to them. They have a thick sidewall construction that gives them a quality feel, and when you put them next to Razer's ABS keycaps, it's easy to notice the difference. You'll also notice the difference when typing too, as they give you that nice, satisfying, heavier PBT thwack when bottoming them out. Now with that in mind, I'm going to do a quick sound test for you guys of these PBT keycaps on the linear and clicky versions of the optomechanical switch. And then I'm also going to do a side-by-side sound test of the ABS keycaps next to the PBT, so you can kind of hear the sound difference between the two. Now, the font on these keycaps is the same simple font we saw with the Huntsman Tournament Edition. And the keycaps are shine through, although this is where I start to have some issues with these keycaps. And for starters, all the secondary characters on the keys and numbers are illuminated, which is great. And before the Huntsman release, I'd been asking this from Razer for a long time, so I'm glad to see it return here. But the media functions on the F keys, however, are not illuminated. Now, this isn't necessarily a deal breaker for me, but it is kind of a bummer when you're already illuminating everything else. Just put it on those keys too. But where I am disappointed is the bleed through on some of these sets. If you look at the pink and green keycaps in particular, there's a lot of light bleed through around the characters that just kind of make them look messy. Now, surprisingly, this isn't too bad on the white set, and it's totally non-existent on the black set. And this effect is definitely worse with some different color backlighting over others, so I suppose it's possible to minimize it with the right color backlighting behind the keys, but I can see this being a real deal breaker for some of you if you have to tailor the lights behind your caps just to get the best look. I also think the font on these is pretty fuzzy looking. It's not nearly as sharp or crisp as their old ABS keycaps. It's definitely doable on PBT to have vibrant, crisp shine through, so this kind of left me scratching my head a little bit. So overall guys, for 30 bucks, I'm a little bit conflicted with this keycap set. You know, on one hand, for 30 bucks, the quality of the keycaps themselves is pretty good, and the fact that they give you a standard and non-standard layout with the ability to use it on UK keyboards as well is really nice. The fact that they give you the stabilizers is great, and the actual quality of the keycaps themselves with that textured feel and the nice thick PBT walls, all that is pretty good. Performance-wise, I enjoyed them. And really where all my gripes come in is all just cosmetic, with that bleed through on the pink and green sets and the kind of fuzzy characters that, depending on your personal preference, you may like or you may not like so much. The one thing that's worth considering for me that kind of won me over a little bit more onto the positive side than the negative with these is just how difficult it can be to find keycaps that fit on Razer's non-standard layouts. So for 30 bucks and with all the different options there, I do think that this keycap set could be a good option for those keyboards in particular. Well, that's it for the video, guys. Let me know in those comments down below what you think about these keycaps, or maybe what color you'd like to see from Razer next. And of course, if you're new here on the channel, I'd love to see you subscribe, as I've got lots more videos coming for you in the near future. And if you haven't already, make sure you ring that bell so you don't miss out on any more of my videos. You can also give this video a like if you enjoyed it to show your support. And of course, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.